everybody, it's Emily at ARG Schooling, and today I'm coming to you with an announcement for the March Through History Readathon. The last 2 years I did the March Through History Readathon, which has been so much fun. Each March has been just like a huge celebration of my favorite genre, which is historical fiction. And even though this year has been kind of wacky and crazy, I didn't really want to not do it, so I was trying to think of ways to still do the March Through History Readathon, but not make it stressful. So I wanted it to be very low-key. So I had an epiphany, a brainstorm, if you will, the other day, and I ran it by Sarah, my oldest daughter, and she thought it sounded like a good idea. So basically, this year, the March Through History Readathon is going to be an around-the-world theme. I give you the template I created. So basically, your goal is to read as many historical fiction titles as you want around the world. And you can choose if you want to read a book for each continent. You could choose to focus on one particular continent, maybe a continent you haven't read anything from before. Maybe you want to do 2 or 3 of them. You don't have to do every single one, or you can. There's no rules. The rules are read what you want to read as long as it's historical fiction and set in different places. So that's it. I'm so excited about it. This is not a great announcement because I don't really have a lot to tell you. There's not challenges. I'm not doing anything like that. We do technically have a group book, though it's up to you if you want to include it in your reading, but the group book is going to be The Light of Days by Judy Battalion, because this is already a book we were going to be reading in March anyway. I always pick a historical book in March just in case, and this happens to be historical, and it happens to be set in Europe, so if you needed a Europe book, boom, got it taken care of. Aside from that, it's really open to whatever you want to read. I did make a little list for myself, and I'll throw some possibilities up on the screen now. So for North America, you could read The Children's Blizzard, you could read Gods of Jade and Shadow. You might want to read Before We Were Free by Julia Alvarez. I've noticed South America is my weak spot. I don't have hardly any books set in South America. I think I own The Queen of Water. I forget the author. There's so many historical fictions set in Europe, one could get overwhelmed. So I'll only give you a few potentials. I have, of course, The Light of Days, which is the group book. But you could also read 1,000 Ships. Or maybe you'll read I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys, her newest book. You might want to read The Fountain of Silence, which is another Ruta Sepetys set in Spain. For Africa, you could read Buried Beneath the BAOBAB. Or Homegoing by Yagyasi, which is fantastic. Or maybe you'll read Orange for the Sunsets, which is a great middle grade set in Uganda in the 1970s. And then I've split Asia up into sections because I feel like it's too big of a continent and we need to divide it up. So I have Central Asia, which covers the Middle East and surrounding countries. So for that, maybe you'll read A Land of Permanent Goodbyes or 1,000 Splendid Suns or Gilgamesh the King. And then in East Asia, I have Do Not Say We Have Nothing. Or maybe you'll read The Silence of Bones or anything by June Her. They're all set in Korea. Maybe you'll read Pachinko, which is high on my list of things I need to read. In South Asia, I have Rebel Queen, The Best We Could Do, which is a memoir about escaping Vietnam during the Vietnam War and immigrating to America. You might read The Night Tiger, which is set in Malaysia, I believe. And then Oceania is my other weak spot, and I've determined that there are very few books, historical fiction or otherwise, that are written and set in Australia or New Zealand. I don't know why, but there just seems to be a big lack of things. For middle grade, you might read Stowaway. And there's also The Exiles, which is a book I just discovered that I'm thinking of listening to on audio. I also have Dark Emu by Bruce Pascoe, which I think is a history of Aboriginal peoples in Australia. So there's that. But there's not a lot of things out there that I could find. There are things, they're just harder to come by. So if you guys know of any other Oceania books that I should be picking up, let me know in the comments. I'd love to get some recommendations for historical fiction set in those countries. So that's gonna be it for this video. I'm gonna do my TBR in another week or so once I have figured out what I'm reading. I have a couple of books that I know I want to get to, but otherwise I'm still open to figuring that out. So I hope you guys participate. It's going to be very low-key. I don't even think we're going to be doing Twitter sprints because Sarah is on campus and busy, and I don't think she's going to be doing a lot for it. So it's going to be super low-key. Just read historical fiction, and I might do some vlogs, I don't know yet. So I hope March is a great month for reading all the historical fiction and history and just indulging in that. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you all participate in the readathon, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy reading. Bye.